We are into game 4 of 4. And the plane is off. We have a different plane path this time around. One that's perhaps slightly less Georgia Pole friendly. If you take a look, we are going to be starting off in a 10 o'clock position, moving towards about a 4 o'clock. So once again, splitting the map approximately in half. Did I say something about Georgia Pole not being friendly? It looks like everybody's going over here. So I guess I was wrong. Alternate Attax are going to find it a little bit difficult to go mill base from here, though. That is quite some long shooting if they're determined to do that. More likely we'll be grabbing cars if that's the kind of strategy they want to employ. And already, very interesting to see so many teams jump out of the plane so early, Tal.
So a lot of the teams that are comfortable with doing the normal strats, such as Kinguin, and you've got Botsman and Flix, they're going to Sferny again. Again, you've got AVANGAR and BlanQ going to North George again. They had the skirmish at the start of the last game. They're going to do exactly the same thing. They just want... That is the strats that both the team do. And they are not doing any other strat other than those ones as well. But the downside on this this time round is that you've got 4 members of AVANGAR and only 2 in close proximity of BlanQ. And now just looking at the rest of the map as we get down, Digital Chaos still going to Pachinki. They love a bit of Pachinki showdown with just themselves. And Alternate Attax, they're making their way to Milta Power as their substitute for military base. So military base is completely open to anyone if they wish to get vehicles and go.
I don't know about you, but my favorite Pachinki showdown is the Pachinki showdown where I land there myself as well. I am absolutely a devout coward when it comes to fighting before I get fully looted up, so I'm in full support of that. Guys, this is game 4 of 4. If you're tuning in now for the Auzom Premier League, we are in Lobby Blue. Your castles today are JoRoSaR and Talha, and of course you have TheYungMyth observing as well, so feel free to go ahead and give us some love, but please don't do that until after the entertainment is complete for the evening. We see Jansen now moving on and trying to grab himself a compound or two, being reasonably spread out with his team early on in this game 4. Team number 6 as well, incredibly spread out down that left-hand side of the map. And No Loot Gaming, I actually think this is reasonably high risk on the grounds that you saw so many people drop out of the plane early in the plane path, but it seems to be paying off for them so far.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got, Zulal and co. They've been going Primorsk every now and then, every game so far, and they're going to continue doing that. That is a strat that they like. And it's very interesting to see these teams that, you know, they find a playstyle that they like, that they're comfortable with, and they kind of just stick to that over and over again.
It can get dangerous though, right? Because we see No Loot Gaming. It's obviously working out for them. They're really spread out in Gatka compounds, right? But when you see that many people jump out of the plane so early, just the percentage chance of one of your 4 players running into a squad suddenly becomes that much higher. So they're still opting to do it anyway, and to be fair, it could well end up paying off. And if I talk about them like this anymore, I could basically say that they're going to win the game now. So I should probably be quiet. But seriously, this is it's brave. They're doing well so far. And yeah, them, Primorsk Squad and co. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out and where they get all the vehicles to transport them where they need to be.
It's interesting to see that some players kind of just go into autopilot. They're so used to one area of the map that they can just kind of loot it up and they know the exact same pattern, the loot pattern. And going somewhere new is like learning a whole new game for them. So they still stay in the same place. What's really interesting now, looking at AVANGAR, is that they're on the side, just a tip of North Georgia Pole is in the circle, and that is the AVANGAR side. So BlanQ will now have to push through AVANGAR if they choose to do so and take on that early fight in order to make their way through the circle. But if they do not go that way, if they go around north from Zaki, that'll be safe, but then they go towards Sferny, which already has a team in, or if they cross the bridge to South Georgia Pole, they have Kinguin to deal with. So there you go, like I'm saying. So they have to decide which way is the best possible way for them to get out into the circle safely with all their 4 players.
The first crate is now dropping on the map. It is approximately equidistant between shooting range and Rojok. And I won't be mean and talk about something else because Myth has spent so long diligently zooming in that I would feel incredibly bad if I were to start talking about something else right now. But I do have to point out that over on the other side of the map, as we see this to be an M249, close to Milta, Alternate Attax are actually within shooting distance of TBD. So T-Bone TV and co did drop close to Milta Power, and you can see Alternate Attax, especially Frost, just having a little cheeky look over Mini Milta every now and then to make sure that they don't get pushed. They were aware that the other squad was there, but it looks like this situation is going to end peacefully as Alternate Attax manage to find vehicles and start their journey into the circle. And I have to say, if you're the team that's been dropping Primorsk all day long, you must be looking at this circle right now going, thank God we finally have something we can work with.
I must say that this is probably the best circle for out of all the other games that the team at Primorsk have got, and especially looking at where the rest of the teams are, they have the whole south side of that circle completely empty, so they don't have to worry about a single thing once coming into the circle, and hopefully no other teams see those spots as places to go and camp up effectively. So they've got the whole of Therapia and potentially Quarry to also loot up completely safe.
As the circle gets smaller, you almost want to hope that it doesn't end up on Gatka compounds, because No Loot Gaming are doing incredibly well from being rather spread out to start things off. As Keen takes a couple of pot shots on Venety, but won't be able to get any purchase. Ooh, might aim for Flicks as well, because you might as well. You've got a couple of bullets, you might as well use them. But imagine if the circle starts closing in on Gatka and more teams go, actually, I wouldn't mind that compound. You could end up in a series of 4v1s for No Loot Gaming. So they're almost hoping they have to travel just a little bit for the next circle. As Flix does get taken out, not by the first person that shoots at them, though, by the looks of things. It was by Kinguin, and Venety manages to trade.
House of Nobles does, in fact, lose a player early on there as they're making their way into the circle. Right now, and Flix gets taken down as well by Danbear, so they've just lost a few players.
Lots of trading.
Yeah, lots of trading, completely. And if I'm right, that's MyTech with Finguin and people that are just camping up the yellow houses. Ronin making their way in from the east side of the map. They've done all the looting they can. They've got a convoy of cars coming in, as well as just above them, you've got GamersOrigin slowly making their way into the circle. So it's just... I don't know what to say about the circle, because kind of a lot is in play. Like, you have crates from Georgia Pole, you've got Pachinki, and then you've got the south side of the map.
A lot of the guys just don't need to move very much, so we kind of have to wait. I know it sounds cliche, but we really do have to wait for the next circle to see which of those teams is getting forced to move first. Like Gatka guys, yeah, I'm going to stay here all day long. We do have some movement, though. It looks like moving slightly more central towards Pachinki. Perhaps the Georgia Pole guys didn't have very much faith that the circle would end their side of Stalbert Mountain, and just wanted to make sure that they could get in the clear nice and early.
A couple of warning shots being taken out there by FedgeK.
You know, if someone shot at me like that, I would not consider them warning shots. FYI. But yeah, well, no real damage done, admittedly. The teams over on the east side of the map are starting to move on in. Alternate Attax staying very tightly bunched. And Team TBD are actually quite spread out. But they are in vehicles. It's unlikely there will be any sort of death showdown between them at this time. Stalber, Crimson, just kind of chilling out. No real big deal at the moment. The doubles now. MyTech trying to get a couple of shots off at Ronan. Making sure that they know. Oh my goodness, actually managing to get one of them with the vehicle explosion there. So Dizzy going down. Vascu getting the credit for that kill. That is delightful stuff. 3 total kills now for MyTech and counting.
That was not good at all. What I've noticed a lot in these games is if you're just driving around anywhere, the chances of you just completely driving into a full team of 4 is quite high.
It's pretty high, man.
And that is why you kind of want to have your own vehicle, so you don't lose more than one person if that does happen. But it is information that gets passed on to the remaining members of the team. Need to do some vocal exercises for my mouth.
Remainers means something very different in this country, Talha.
But
we won't be talking about that on this broadcast. Don't you guys worry. We won't get all political on you. This is team number 8, by the way. Royal Banditos. Looking for a little bit of purchase. The closest team to them is actually Digital Chaos. They drop Pachinki. They're chilling in Pachinki. They don't mind. No one else is challenging them in Pachinki. They are having a very, very good start to game number 4 and hoping to build on their position. Doing very, very well so far, but also aided somewhat by the circle. We'll see if it ends up going more towards Gatka. And when that does, of course, I will be looking out for No Loot Gaming, who do look like they're moving out. And actually, Zulol, Timmy, and co finally moving from Primorsk, and they're going to be coming up behind team number 6. So this could end up being a little bit of a skirmish in the southwestern quadrant of the circle.
It's only Timmy though right now that's going past No Loot Gaming, so this could be highly dangerous. The member could be lost here, but because he's on a bike, he can easily get out of there quite efficiently. Is the way, swift and smooth and fast, without being noticed, without being shot at. But the whole of No Loot Gaming are just inside one building. But what's really interesting, I just saw a glimpse of the map there, is a lot of the teams are converging into the Gatka compounds. You've got No Loot Gaming and then Kinguin, literally just a couple of 300 meters away from them. And then MyTech, 400 meters odd away from Kinguin. So it's kind of all clumping around in this open field Gatka compounds area. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, GamersOrigin, shooting at literally no one.
And clumping up in those kind of compounds is exactly what we were talking about No Loot Gaming needing to do earlier on. As the circle moves in, you're going to get more and more people driving into a compound and wanting to take it over. You do not want to be caught with only one of your team members in a compound. So doing very, very well there. And Timmy's, as you correctly pointed out and predicted, is getting shot at the moment. Unfortunately, to a degree that means it's very difficult for him to get safe, but he just about manages it. Costs his teammate a couple of hit points as well, and that is team number 6, No Loot Gaming, all in the one house. Concentrated fire will bring him down and limit those meds. Hey, watch... oh, not on the carpet. Come on, man.
Yeah, my household...
that's a crime punishable by death in my house.
Yeah. My mom definitely would not allow that in my house. Especially. Meanwhile, on a hill not so far away of ruins, you've got Team 11 and Team 17, Ronin versus BlanQ, having a good firefight on the Badlands. However, Chris has forgotten his shoes to fight.
He has indeed. That's going to be fine until he's like jumping up and down on rocks, I'm sure. Team 17, BlanQ, very, very reasonably open, only using the hills by ruins as cover. And it means that they are going to be relatively safe as long as the circle decides not to screw them over. Having to run across this kind of level of the Badlands here, I guess, is just very difficult when you're forced to move. But it's fine as long as you're sitting in one place, you can start to plan flanks. And we can see they're actually going to be inside the next circle as well. Most central at the moment, though, is team number 9, AVANGAR.
Team 12 taking shots at Gavrin as he goes past. However, it's going to be Mackin who comes in and saves the day. Bossman doesn't get taken down. And they go into
back into no, I'm not gonna mention the shack. But they are back in a shack.
They are back in a shack.
They are back in a shack.
Team Noble back in a shack. I was gonna say Team 17 were making their way up to AVANGAR, so BlanQ were making their way towards AVANGAR in that thing, but Ronin is actually going to be the first team to feel AVANGAR's wrath while Ewan takes down Attack. Lyricson, he must have not been the last player. No, he's definitely not the last player on Attack, so Attack is still in the game. Everyone heading towards the north side of this circle, as if they want to get to the mountain as fast as possible. Oh,
that's a very close crate to Squad 15. We need to take a look at what is in that. MyTech are incredibly close to that crate. Or was that an illusion? Yeah, Kinguin is going to be able to equip as well. And it looks like there's only some 7.62 ammo, and of course there's only some 7.62 ammo. Delicious, delicious weapons. Kinguin's going to just try and get the heck out of there. I believe that's a Mark 14?
Yeah, it's a Mark 14. He managed to grab himself a Mark 14 from the dumpster truck. And he's just going to swiftly run out of there while the fighting is going on away from him. Catching up on Kinguin. What's Larson doing?
DC switching it up, by the way, was originally... Oh, beautiful shot, actually, from within the UAZ, and that's going to be completely taking Zika out of the game. DC were one of the most central teams, very happy in Pachinki, and now they're playing the very edge, and in fact, being one of the teams that are most outside the next circle at the moment. So it was interesting to see them do that. They're actually rotating around towards the Gatka compounds. Nobody there at the moment. They're just slowly getting into more positions where they can hear the fighting is not. They just want to keep a low profile and deal with these guys once there are 4 or 5 teams left. Really smart moves here coming out from DC, being very patient.
Indeed, I didn't see the rest of the circle, so Georgia Paul Crates are still in. And Crimson are the northmost team, and they are completely safe from any sort of fighting that is going to take place. However, looking at the compound just above Gatka, never mind, there is a fight happening from Red Zone and the Yellow Houses. Is that, yeah, MyTech and Red Zone are having a little skirmish. Here we go. So you've got Stoff, Team 16, and Team 13 just fighting it out in this little compound, trying to get information and figure out where the others are, so they can safely move out of this into the next circle if the circle does not fall upon them.
I'm not 100% sure if Team Finstack know that stuff is there. Maybe they traded shots earlier. Did you manage to see anyone trading shots there, or is this sneaky snake mode coming out from Team 16?
The only thing that we saw was Larson taking out one of the members of Finstack before they got to that compound. So I think Stoff he isn't the last one alive. He has Rafi, who isn't. Is he nearby? No, Rafi is not nearby at all. So
he's nowhere close, to my knowledge. A little bit awkward. Yeah, there's a team separating the two of them as well. So, well, he's just chilling. DP there, next to a bust car, and he's just waiting for the center of the circle to close in. But he's extremely close at the moment to the Royal Banditos, who are actually very slowly moving in his direction. So trapped between them and Moleman and co Team Random, not an ideal place to be, separated from his teammate. These guys have a long road ahead of them, but at least they're both in the circle.
So we've got No Loot Gaming, Red Zone, and MyTech just kind of in the center of, I don't want to call that the center of Gatka, to the right of the name Gatka, and they all have to push out to get into the next circle. They do have the vehicles, so they have to do it. Never mind,
Stalber Mountain finish. It's gonna happen, Talha.
No, not Stalber Mountain.
It's gonna happen.
Stalber's the other side of the map.
Yeah,
Georgia Pole Mountain.
Well, see, we normally call that mountain something slightly different that I tend to not repeat on stream. So when I was thinking of alternate things to say, Stalber may have come to mind. So that mountain, by the way, is when you look at it from afar and the textures don't yet load in, does look like there are giant green blobs on the top of it as you're parachuting in. Let's put it that way. Shrek references were made.
Okay. And look at this, everyone in the vehicles wanting to get up on that mountain as fast as possible, but little they know that Crimson's already up there, and they're going to be ready for any sort of fight that comes their way. It's going to be No Loot Gaming, the first to get into Crimson's path.
And Crimson did come from Stalber Mountain, didn't they? They were all the way across the other side of the map, and they're the first ones up here.
They did, and look, it is Butts that goes down. How did Butts go down?
I don't think it was vehicle related. No, I'm fairly confident.
It does say vehicle related.
Oh no. Well, hit F to pay respects either way, because action is going on as everybody tries to get up this mountain. OPJ now taking out Red Zone McCann. They're going to be finishing him off as well. And on top of the mountain, we have action too. Crimson trying to defend their position. Who's coming up there? That is Team 6. No Loot Gaming is trying to move up on Crimson, and I mean, there are so many angles from which someone at the bottom of the mountain could try and chime in with a sniper. But right now it is Team 5 versus Team 6. Top of the world. Which one of them will reign supreme?
Digital Chaos also has the perfect opportunity to come up on that mountain like they were trying to do so, coming up behind No Loot Gaming. But Crimson, they were there first. They've got the dominance. They've got the better side of the mountain. They've got the better cover. They've got more mountain covered for them. So they are just keeping No Loot Gaming at bay there with their positioning and their firing. However, Team Noble, our bossman, is going to drive straight past Rafi. Rafi doesn't take any shots, however, onto the body. And Digital...
Oh my goodness, second time around might not be so lucky. And Botsman goes down. This is why you stay in shacks. And he will get taken out there. It looks like P-Day is going to be able to finish the kill off. 6v5 still going on at the top of the mountain. In the meantime, on the left-hand side there, 3v4. Crimson Esports and No Loot Gaming at the base of the mountain. Sorry, not No Loot Gaming. DC and Kinguin even look like to be a very interesting battle on the left as well. So two big fights going on right now.
So meanwhile, on top of the mountain, we do have No Loot Gaming and Crimson fighting it out for the superiority over that mountain. But Larson and co Kinguin are going to be pushing up from this side, and they're going to be fighting Digital Chaos. Now, these two teams, they really want to get as high as possible on the board comparatively to each other. So this is an interesting fight to watch. And already
that was the best gone off with Larson.
Two members of Kinguin are already down. That puts them at a massive disadvantage here. Going in, and the nades are coming in. Can Gaxi do this?
Gaxi Gaxi, that level 3 helmet, is taking an awful lot of damage right now. He's at about 3/4 health. That helmet is not particularly healthy. He needs to find a way to get to his teammates, but he's being pushed by the rest of DC now. They are rushing around the smoke, looking for the flank. Gets Ewan and Fausto. What an excellent bit of spray control on the Scar-L there. And all of a sudden, Gaxi almost single-handedly bringing this back. If he gets the other two as well, there is Ewan. He finishes him off. An excellent stand there by Gaxi, but it wasn't quite enough in the end.
Gaxi did... I have some questions. I mean, through the smoke, there's this little bug where you can actually see through the smoke if the blue is right behind it. So it wasn't thick enough, but he used that to his advantage. But unfortunately, it didn't work out as well in his favor because no members of Digital Chaos actually died. So those points are not bagged up for Kinguin, and Kinguin are in fact out, being the first or second team, as another team actually did fall out of the game there. And the fight on top of the hill is still going between No Loot Gaming and Crimson.
And that is Sunbird, by the way, House of Nobles. I think that was the last member of the team alive because we are down to 13 teams there. So the team that won the previous game, House of Nobles, to my knowledge, has no one left alive. Feel free to absolutely humiliate me if that ends up not being the case, but I think that is true. Crimson still holding true on the top of the mountain there, taking some nice pot shots there at BlanQ. And 3 people from Team 6 are still here, but they it looks like they're keeping their distance, and they've identified places they're going to be hiding. So,
BlanQ have actually not done themselves any sort of favors here, driving to this area of the map. There we go. Kavorka actually gets taken down as well, and he's trying to make his way over to get Chris up. And they should just get back in their vehicles and actually drive out of there and find a different spot because they just don't have the angles to fight this.
Crimson are so on it as well. I mean, these guys in the open for a split second and instantly getting them. Really tricky situation now for BlanQ to be in. Oh, and they've actually spotted where that last guy is as well. Very difficult for them indeed to get out of this situation. I believe it's 2 left. Oh, and now 1 left standing. And it looks like BlanQ are at risk of being the next team out.
In fact, yeah, that is how it looks like. You have Chris, that's the last one. He is...
There go the tires on the Dasher.
I think he's just sitting in the back of the Dacia. I'm not too sure. I can't see that well. But meanwhile, on this side of the map, you've got everyone else coming in from the south east, and look at all those downs. JoRoSaR.
GamersOrigin.
It's not good.
They're getting absolutely wrecked by Kinguin right now, holding the edge of the circle, doing an incredible job there. Mumino also just kind of proning around. I don't think he's going to be able to get to Drades, unfortunately. And this is a big, big skirmish between 3 or 4 teams as Ronan Duck manages to get a final kill. There goes GamersOrigin. 12 teams left, 32 alive. This is game 4 of 4 in tonight's Auzom Premier League Blue Lobby.
It looks like BlanQ might be another team that's about to fall very quickly as Chris falls to below 30% HP. But he's doing his best to survive in this survival game.
Funny that.
This is the opportunity, right, where if I was Chris, I would be like, whoever is on the mountain with Crimson, can they please start shooting at him?
Exactly. Like, he's praying for No Loot Gaming to push them now.
And No Loot Gaming, they're not pushing because they don't need to. They're in the circle. They're just waiting to see if Crimson actually step out of place and show themselves. But Crimson absolutely showing their authority on the top of the mountain, taking shots really far away, at least 400, 500 meters away.
Now this is interesting as well. The next circle, they're going to have to actually push into No Loot Gaming. Crimson are going to lose their dominating position. And this could really tilt the scales in favor of No Loot Gaming. Although G-Thang they're poking, as you can see, without a helmet on. So that won't do him any favors at all.
Okay, Stoff hasn't actually moved for a while. Okay, so that's what's giving him up. Okay, I was gonna say he hasn't moved for ages. He hasn't even like moved his mouse or keyboard. And now you've got Team Noble sitting in the opposite house, wondering. Sorry, that's not Team Noble. You've got Team 13 there, just wondering. Finstack, just looking at me like there is someone there. That's because someone ran into the yellow building and. He got a kill.
And that's completely fine. I mean, at the end of the day, they are in the next circle as well, so they're going to have to come down off the mountain, our Crimson, or push into No Loot Gaming. Still trying to work out which of those options they are in favor of. Chris is still down the mountain, looking to seek revenge as well as the last surviving member of Team BlanQ. G-Thang knows that the opportunity is here. He knows that they're going to have to push into him if they want to stay on top of this mountain. So continuously peeking. Without a helmet, that is always dangerous. But the position is absolutely theirs.
My God, look at this.
Nice.
Just every single person that is anywhere is getting shot by Crimson and is getting down by Crimson. They are just completely ruining everyone else. And AVANGAR, last man alive, is Keen, and he's trying to get as close as possible. But has he spotted Rafi? Nope. He's gonna...
I get the feeling he has. It's alright, he's one with the bush. The bush is with him. He'll be fine. Crimson are absolutely decimating everything that they see, by the way. They are maximizing their use of this position. Although I think, is that someone from Alternate Attax creeping up on them right now as we see Keen moving up on Team 15,
yes.
MyTech. It is Frost
it's
from
Frost.
Alternate Attax creeping up on Crimson. And he's going to have to move very, very fast indeed, because this blue zone is not going to be fun at all. He's going to run 1v4 into this fight unless Crimson turn around.
This is about timing. Look at this. This is about timing.
He's going to eat the blue, heal up, and run after Crimson. If he can get Crimson to fight No Loot Gaming first, this is going to be a genius move for him. But he's split up from the rest of his team. Nope.
No.
We had planned it out, though.
Yeah,
the important thing is we planned it out.
Yeah. The right logic was there. However, the timing was just, it wasn't good enough. And now we have Keen actually getting 2 kills on Kinguin and wiping them out. But then it's going to be Rafi who picks up the kill on AVANGAR, and that's AVANGAR out.
Clutch.
As well.
And that was Rafi in the blue as well. He was waiting for the right opportunity to do that. Crimson now getting, unfortunately, very, very much hurt there, but able to... Oh, what a frag! It goes ever so slightly too far. And it pushes them apart at the very least in Pybas and Jumbawe. Oh dear, that was an excellent frag grenade, and Crimson are suddenly down to 2.
That frag grenade worked. It even downed him as well. And look at Chris.
So I think all that time, Jumbawe was taking damage from the blue, or took a bit of damage from the blue, and it knocked him only just enough. It was... I could see them knocking them apart and interrupting the revive. I didn't realize it would also knock Jumbawe. It must have just been enough to do so.
No, you must be right, because he was actually on more than 70% HP as we were watching.
He was initially, yeah.
Yeah, so it must have done damage and knocked him into the blue, and then
I think so.
Completely downed him. But meanwhile, Chris, the last member alive for BlanQ, is still alive north of the circle. So he's really happy that No Loot Gaming has finally actually started doing something about those pesky Crimson people, and he's just going to slowly make his way around the mountain to the circle. He's not even
like
going to
we were saying before, No Loot Gaming, they didn't have the position to begin with, but they certainly do now.
They just need to make their way down into the circle from the mountain, but regardless, this will be a more superior position on any of those teams that are there, and it all comes down to skill from anyone on the lower ground, such as Digital Chaos.
Oh, very close quarters combat now. Chris moving up the side of the mountain. He is going to run straight into the rest of No Loot Gaming very shortly indeed. Crimson have opted to take a path of less resistance by not going head-to-head by the looks of things. And Digital Chaos here. I mean, they're just riding the edge at the moment. They don't actually need to take this engagement. They just need to make sure they don't get seen, really. But who else is around them? That's the key. Squad 8 in the middle of the circle. Are we going to see Royal Banditos looking their way, for example? But if not, they can stay quiet. They've got all 4 alive.
You still have stuff from Team 16 there, just sitting in one of the yellow houses. Finstack as well, in the same area. They're just waiting for the opportune moment to push out. Well, actually, they don't have to while they're in the circle. They're waiting for it. Look at that headshot coming out there by Alien. Taking Outsider down to very low HP, but not downing him, unfortunately. But Chris, riding that circle in slowly but surely. He's going to be coming behind No Loot Gaming, and he will do a lot of damage. But he gets spotted before he does so.
Oh no, and that's the absolute worst case scenario. That's going to mean he gets finished off by DC, actually. So from reasonable distance, not actually taken out by No Loot Gaming. So the DC are gonna, you know, help these guys out a little bit and deal with a thorn in their side. They're now trading fire. Outsider finally goes down to Awian, meaning that only 2 people, I believe, are left standing at the moment for his team. Slightly awkward. There's a story behind how that buggy went there, but Ewan's not about to ask questions. Still a couple of people up the side of the mountain, and Digital Chaos are looking like, at the moment, they're in a pretty good position.
Lockwood and his teammate just trying to hug the blue, trying to hug as much cover as they possibly can. But they do, looking at G-Thang's point of view, he knows he has to make his way down, but he has teammate right in front of him. Akril. And he does get spotted. He's behind a rock, so he's about perfect cover. But the refract comes down by Lockwood.
Classic trading there. And of course, as soon as you shoot at someone, you also give away your own position. Plenty of strategic factors to consider when you pop out from behind your cover and actually take some shots at people here. So very, very interesting situation. Still 8 teams alive. Can you believe there are 17 people, ladies and gents, still inside this circle? OPG not having the best of times. Yes, he's in the center of the circle, but he's more or less reliant on smoke grenades for cover, and he's going to be running out of them pretty darn quick.
Outsider does get taken down by Red Zone. So you've got Red Zone and Crimson coming in from pretty much the same area, but there we go. Ronin are now out of the game, and that's thanks to Finstack. But OPG, he's just going to stay lying down, playing the prone game, not showing much of himself, but that doesn't matter because he gets taken damage so much. He does, in fact, take Jansen down.
Yeah, and he had to do that because that was the only other angle he could have gotten shot from. So people are still rotating, looking for that peek onto OPG. Oh, and Awian now, unfortunately, finishes off the job. That was a great stand from him, but it won't be enough to get his team higher place. Done pretty well, though. Done pretty well. And, yeah, we now have DC, again, in such a good position.
Jansen gets the kill finished on Locker. I was going to say, but he did get revived. Nope, he got the kill finished. Now we have Digital Chaos trying to show as much, trying to gain as much ground as possible. He does take down Ewan.
That's Red Zone down. Last 2 teams.
That's it. So it's just the last person.
It is indeed. And this is, well, I mean, Finstack have done incredibly well. They won one of the games this evening. They weren't one of the teams that everyone was talking about. We were looking at our Kinguins, our DCs, our Crimsons, our No Loot Gamings. And you know what? Finstack have done themselves proud today, winning a game and guaranteeing at least 2nd place here. I mean, technically, he could still win this 1v3, so we shouldn't count them out just yet. There isn't a shack in play, though, so I'm not sure it's going to happen.
This is really good, though, for DC. They haven't been performing that well this week. So this win, that we can see them getting right now. I mean, anything could happen here, but this win they're about to get.
The caster curse has to be pretty strong at this point, basically, guys. Pretty
strong. Like, someone somewhere just wants me to look like an idiot. So.
Oh, and to be fair, look at them playing it safe. Yes, it's a 3v1. Yeah. They're still going to make him push the circle. Like, this is very, very textbook. No one is getting complacent. No one's getting cocky. This is absolutely the way Digital Chaos should be playing this out.
Of course, they want this win. JoRoSaR is going to do whatever he can to try and get in that circle. So he's going to move slowly while lying down, but it's too slow. He has to get up, he has to move, he has to expose his body. And his body has been exposed just a tiny bit.
Instant spotting. Alien from all the way across the circle. Beautiful stuff there. And he will contribute to that kill count. 4, 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, makes for 10 kills for Digital Chaos as they round out their evening with an emphatic win, doing a very, very good job to hold off Finstack and pick off JoRoSaR as the final player.